What's going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. That's right, guys. There is no doom and gloom in this podcast. We have had a bunch of news drop this week. A game that I know a lot of people were highly anticipating. We finally got the trailer and some information about. Not only that, for our next podcast fans, we have a special guest tonight. Guys, I'm going to go right into the intros right now, and I'm going to, I want to introduce this very intelligent gamer. He breaks down gaming news with actual common sense, coming straight from G4G Media. It's Avers!
Thank you so much for having me on tonight. I have wanted to be on next for a very, very long time, and it's finally coming home for me to be here, and I'm excited. Let's get into these topics. Let's get going.
Nice, brother. Nice. After we get through the intros, I do have a question about, you, Moxie, and G4G. I think it's something that, a lot of people in the community want to know about. So be prepared, man. I'm going to ask you.
Oh, sure.
Some detailed questions here, man.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm prepared.
All right, well, next on the list, of course, people out there know him as the El Diva, coming live from the 405, and he was almost late today because I think he was playing God of War K Mega!
No, I was not. I told you, when I want to play the God of War, I'll be streaming it, so nobody can say I'm trying to do anything fraudulent. Anyway, so I've just been trying to get my stream right. Been working as well. Had to work today at 4:00 this morning. I'm tired.
I heard that on GRG last night, man. How the hell do you do this, dude? Yeah.
Man, because this is basically like a second job. But you know what? Just if you love gaming, and it's a dedication of love. It's not like it's a hassle to me. So it is what it is. But work, sure the hell is. It's a hassle, but you got to pay the bills. But anyway, as we are looking at the award-winning gameplay, I'm so happy to see. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Always happy to be here, man. Great to have Avers on. Hopefully that we can do some collaborations ourselves, and again, because we did it on GRG. And so, of course, Fred, you have an opportunity to win, but I doubt it. So anyway, let's get it on.
On that note, man, let's go next on the list here. This guy is the true hardcore gamer when it comes to gameplay. Only the hardcore gamer will truly respect what he brings to the table every Saturday when it comes to his gameplay. And I am talking Predator!
What's going on, everybody? Everybody knows I got the best gameplay. But, thanks for having Avers on today, man. Him and Moxie, I've been listening to their podcast for a little while. I think we did a podcast on Crossfire together at one point in time.
Yeah, we did, definitely.
So welcome to the next podcast. Don't mind K Mecca. He's just an idiot. He's just pissed off because Oklahoma lost the other day.
Oh, he brought it up. Because Utah, they're known for jazz, right? That's what it is, man.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you know what? Don't be bringing up that trash. You know what? Fuck her up. And to the jazz people out here talking about my boy Westbrook's family like that.
Yo, check this out. To all the Lakers fans out there, man, I'm very happy for you guys. You will be getting Paul George next year.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. But, as always, man, I'm excited. Every Saturday, I look forward, to going live with you guys, man. It feels like the beginning of the day. It just takes forever before, 6:30, 7 o'clock comes around. But we do have a special guest. And Avers, for people who don't know, Avers is a part of a YouTube channel called G4G Media. He has a partner in crime. Her name is Moxie. And I gotta say, when it comes down to it, when I first came across this channel, I thought like IGN with actual common sense. The production value. No, the way you guys put everything together, having like every little detail is touched on in terms of being a professional kind of gaming news channel and stuff. So, Avers, I want to ask you, I think the community wants to know, like, how did you and Moxie get together, and what made you guys decide to do a gaming news channel like this? And, like, what was your goal when you started off doing this, man?
Well, first, thank you so much for the kind words there. I will try my best to live up to that, definitely. Well, when we first started talking, it was actually like 2014, I would say. I was watching some of the YouTubers that we still all watch and that have grown really, really big. And I showed her. I actually sent her a few of the podcasts and a few videos, and I got her impression on it. And we both realized we had a lot to say ourselves. We'd have 2, 3, sometimes people aren't going to believe this, but sometimes 4-hour long conversations about these same topics and things. And we found that we had a really good vibe, that we could really bounce ideas and thought process off each other, pretty much nonstop until it was 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So it kind of grew out of that. We were both really busy back then, 2014, 2015. And 2016 is when we finally started to have some time to actually get ready to do this. We launched last year, focusing on exactly what you're talking about. It was greatly inspired by 2 things. One was actually IGN, not so much their content, but their production values and the way their sets looked. And so, sort of the way everything looked in the room. That was really good. And then there was a show on, it was GameSpot. There was actually not, I don't think they even talked about video games. They actually talked about movies and like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead and stuff like that. And so that's where I kind of got the inspiration for that. She already had a lot of collectibles. I already had a lot of collectibles. So we kind of put them together on the set here and sort of, made that to look kind of like GameSpot's set. They had like the square pieces in the back, and I thought that was really cool. And it just kind of grew from there. So yeah, I mean, like you said, we focus on kind of delving deep into some of these more complicated topics. Last year, we really focused a lot on the business side of things, like the money side of things, because that's where her interest really is, with her running her own business and helping out a couple other people with their businesses. And that's where my interest used to be when I used to work in corporate America. So we kind of have a lot of knowledge about some of the behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, I mean, it grew from that, and here we are.
Nice, man. It is good to see, passionate gamers take like, the talents and stuff that you have learned, like you said, in corporate America, and bring it to the community and be able to explain things so that, a wide range of gamers can understand it. I am so glad that you guys decided to come together and do that. And, man, I gotta say, like I said, when I first crossed over and checked out that channel, like I thought you guys had come from, like big gaming media. Like a couple people just got tired of saying, I love PS4 all day, every day. Everything they do is like perfect. And I thought you guys actually had branched off, from big gaming media. So I gotta say, man, it is a blast having, you and Moxie in the community. I know you guys are active on Twitter and all that good stuff. And I can't wait to see like how your channel evolves, man.
Oh yeah, hey, my thing just cut out. Can you repeat those last couple lines?
No, I was just saying that it's good to have you guys in the community, and
thank you.
I'm looking forward to see how your channel, because every channel, like when they start out, you have a certain idea, a certain premise, which in turn is the foundation of your channel. But I can't wait to see how throughout this year going into next generation how your channel kind of evolves, man.
And I just want to say something about that, actually, because we've had a lot of people reach out and ask why we're not putting out as many videos and stuff like that. And I told you guys some of that stuff in the pre-show, but we have really big plans, but they take a long time to put in place. So some people have heard me say this before on our channel or on the live show that we have, but these things actually take a couple of years. And so I've asked for patience from those that are asking what's going on. And I'm serious about the 2-year thing. It really does take a little while to do some of the things that we're working on. It can't be done overnight. So we do have that coming. We're not giving up on that stuff. It is coming, just a little bit of patience there. And yeah, I mean, we have a passion for it. So we're definitely going to continue to push this for sure.
Nice, man. And I did a couple little giggles there, because first off, it sounded like you might be related to Phil Spencer and how he's been asking people for time. And then second of all, K Mega can tell you how long it took before next podcast got off the ground as well. I think there was a point in time where Mega thought like this might not actually happen, but we got this show out here, and I can't wait to see what you guys do. Guys, we have to get into the topics, man. I'm going to start with something that I was actually a little surprised about when I was able to play it. For people who don't know, Player Unknown Battlegrounds. They gave people the option to download a test server, and on that test server is the second map that is coming to this game on Xbox One. It is Miramar, otherwise known as the Desert Map. Now, for people who've been playing on PC, you've been able to play on this map for a while, but this is, a test server on the console, and this weekend it was open to everybody. Now, when I first went into this, I thought, okay, PUBG, just another map. I was completely surprised at how much the difference in terrain has made this game. I got to ask people on the panel, has everybody tried Miramar on PUBG?
I've done it both on PC and Xbox.
Dude, yeah, you live PUBG, man. Avers, have you tried Miramar yet?
I have not had a chance to try it yet. I kind of was faced with a decision this week that we've all been faced with, which was go see Avengers or play games. So I saw it a couple times already. So I'm guilty of not having played it yet. I'm sorry, Xbox.
Oh man, I don't have an Avengers topic to talk about either. I guess I don't know what to do there. But hey, Mega, have you been able to pull away from God of War, to play a little Miramar? Did you download the test server? Mega, we can't hear you. His microphone, man.
Every week, man. Every week.
Wait for it, guys. Wait for it.
2,
Wait.
1.
And
Nothing.
No. All right. Well, yo, Predator, check this out. You have had extensive time on multiple maps when it comes to PUBG. You have it on PC. You have it on Xbox One. Dude, are you surprised by my reaction here? I feel that the desert map completely changes strategies that I got used to from the original map, and to me it feels almost like it's a new game, but in the PUBG universe, man. Does that surprise you that I'm saying stuff like that? Yeah.
No, because that was the same reaction I had when I first played it. There's not a lot. I mean, keep in mind I'm from the military, so there's not a lot of cover and concealment there in that map, unless you find buildings. Like the first map, there's a lot of bushes and grass and places you can hide. This map, it's wide open, so you can see people from far away if you're a sniper. They made some changes recently on the PC map. They gotten rid of some of the buildings. But the map we're playing on Xbox right now was the original. It looks like the original PC map that I played on PC, where there's some buildings and mountains that are up kind of high, because they had some nice camper and sniper spots on there, and they got rid of those, I think, on the PC side. But
they did.
They got rid of some of the terrain there to kind of make it more an even playing field. It's a different map if you're not used to let's put it this way. I've been in maps, and I don't play this map that often because in the past there was not a map selector. They just released that recently.
Okay.
Where you can actually pick what map you want to play. Every time I seemed to play on PC, I kept getting the regular map, and every now and then I'd be able to jump into the desert map, the Miramar map. So, so I really couldn't get used to it as much as I really wanted to. I think I probably played it maybe 20 times out of the last month or two. But the terrain thing is a big difference. That's gonna kill a lot of people. They're just not used to not being in the wide open like that.
Well, Pred, when on the initial when you jump out of the plane, I found myself all of a sudden, instead of aiming for towns that have the trees and stuff around it, more forested towns and stuff. On the Miramar map, I started looking at elevation. It seems like they focused a lot more on the verticality of this map, and I think that's where the vantage points are. But you said they changed the PC one?
They changed a little bit of it. They got rid of some of the buildings and some of the higher terrain areas for the specific purpose that you're talking about. People would get up there and they would just camp up there. But again, you can't just sit still on this map, any map on PUBG, because the circle's constantly closing. But if you get a nice vantage point, and you're in the right area, you can stay there for a long time.
Dude, you can do some damage. You get a 4 times or 8 times, and something that has a little punch to it, and you can go for a while, man.
Yeah, you can actually put some damage in if you know exactly where to go and you actually get the right equipment. But that's the beauty of the game. You don't know what equipment you're going to get. If you like this again, this is PC, so you got those people that are cheating with aimbots and stuff like that. So they can fuck you up. But like I found like I've had more success on the original map than I had on the Miramar map, just because you have to kind of change your viewpoint of how you're playing. Your strategy changes completely differently than what it was when you were playing on the first map.
All right, so I got to ask you, people, they're going to see your gameplay, and I know that you've played even more maps than this. You have played the tropical, basically the tropical island map. Does it do the same thing as from the original to the desert? Is there like a completely new strategy when it comes to that map as well?
It's a mix of both, where you actually have elevation involved, and you have like when you see my gameplay, like I was playing with I'm gonna foreshadow my gameplay now, but I was playing with a group of randoms, and I was playing Overwatch for them on top of a hill while they were covering the bridge because they were waiting some people to come across the bridge. We saw them kind of coming behind us, and like it's different when you're watching the next podcast. You can't really hear us talking on there, but like the dialogue was great. Like we had great, like communication with each other where we were like, hey, I'm on top of the hill and playing Overwatch, and I was sitting here basically watching everything around them while they were doing their looting and setting up basically an ambush for the group coming across the bridge. So elevation plays a part, plus the type of terrain you're in now isn't just elevation, it's actually grassy. So it kind of merges both maps together where you have cover and concealment and elevation involved in it.
I gotta say, the whole battle royale thing, it's something that you've seen other developers, kind of grasp hold of. Of course, Fortnite is the biggest free-to-play game of all time on console. So, there's developers trying to go in and try to get a piece of that battle royale pie. But something I see PUBG doing that I don't necessarily see from any other developer, at least talking about this option down the line with their games and stuff like that, is the option of having more than one map and having them be distinctly different than each other, man. I gotta say, like, I've had fun on the original map. I'm not tired of that whatsoever, but to have another different way to play the same game, dude, to me, this adds even more replay value than I know that free to play game out there that I don't like to mention so much. I don't know. What do you think, man?
It does, and again, I haven't played Fortnite. It's not my cup of tea. But when you add in not just this map, the new map that's coming, plus the other game mode that I just played recently, that you'll see on this award-winning footage coming up after this trash that Xbox has up. There's another game mode as well where it's called War Mode, where it's 10v10 v10 in a small confined area, and you just consistently unlimited respawns. You play up until you get 200 points, and doesn't necessarily have to be kills. You can get points just by knocking somebody down. So whoever gets to 200 first out of that team wins the match. And the circle isn't like the entire map; it's just one section. So like, let's say where do people land typically? Like I'm having a brain fart right now, but one of the cities that people,
base.
like let's say, and that's one like there's a small circle around military base, and you will consistently just have to jump in that area because that's the only area that's inside the circle. So your team of 10 lands in there, and there's 20 other people on the map, including the team that you're on. So it's 30 people, and you're all against each other in that little small circle. Mm-hmm. And it's basically like team deathmatch, but they're adding basically parachuting and stuff like that. But if you get a decent vantage point and you know what you're doing up there, and you'll see on my gameplay, I was getting a lot of knockdowns and kills, more knockdowns and kills than anything. But like those knockdowns actually count towards the point score. So
that's freaking cool,
it's a different map, and it actually changes gameplay dramatically too, versus just going out trying to survive. You're now trying to get as many kills as possible.
Nice. Did we get K Mega back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Or something.
All right, I don't know if you were out trying to get one of those little cocktails with the little umbrella or something like that. But
no. My mic, my headset popped out of my computer, and I was over there trying to Anyway.
I think I wanted to ask you basically if you downloaded a test server for PUBG and if you have tried Miramar, otherwise known as the desert map, yet.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mjolnir. But no, I have not.
No? Couldn't pull away from God of War, huh?
Stop. Anyway, no, I haven't really played that much of PUBG. I've only maybe played about 10 matches overall. I plan on one to come in and join, but you know what I'm saying, I've been playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, and you know, I've been playing a lot of SSX3. So
trying to stay on the board. I got you, man. That's cool.
No, I'm doing my thing. So other than that, man, no, I haven't really touched on it. So really me just trying to give an analysis about what's going on with the game, and I just can't do it. Just only go by what I've seen and with some gameplay. It looks cool. I do like this like team deathmatch mode. It gets me more interested in wanting to jump in and play because I don't think you need a team to jump in, right? You could just jump in and just go. It's like a free for all, is it not? Pred?
Yeah, it's 10v10.
Okay, yeah. So I might want to jump in there and do a little bit of that here.
You're missing out, man. Yo, it's only Saturday. You have the entire weekend. Miramar is open, dude.
Yeah, I'll jump on. I'll jump on this weekend for sure. I'll jump on this weekend for sure.
All right. Well, let me move over to our special guest, Avers. After hearing, you know, kind of like the back and forth between me and Predator, what do you think, man? Are you hyped to like go in and try this map? Does it sound like PUBG might have something out there in Battle Royale that other developers might not have, man?
Oh, it definitely does. Even with the first map that they had on Xbox, it did quite a bit. I agree with you in choosing that over the other Battle Royale game that is very popular right now. After looking at Pred's gameplay here, with all the way the hills and the little like valley type segments of the map work, if you have stealth and you know how to use that, and you have strategy, you could really own some of the other teams on this new map. So that's an incredible element that wasn't in the previous one, or at least not to that degree. You could try to hide in bushes or trees, but yeah, that looks really cool. I'm definitely going to be checking that out as soon as it goes live.
Nice. Now, Mega, I don't know if you heard, but like I was kind of like voicing my surprise when it comes to the Miramar map. Like it's a completely new strategy. Compared a completely new set of strategies compared to the original map, and that's something I know. All right, I'm gonna say the name. I know Fortnite has been teasing kind of like a comet strike and changing the map that way and stuff, but to have like multiple maps, like to have the desert map, they're testing the tropical map on the PC right now, and you know eventually that'll come to the Xbox as well. I'm looking at it like PUBG has something here that, you know, other developers looking into Battle Royale or other developers that actually have Battle Royale out, PUBG has something that they don't have, and it looks like they have the foundation for a huge amount of replay value to this game in comparison. So I don't know. What do you think, man?
Well, I mean, it sounds really interesting, and of course, I mean, when you're going against Fortnite did kind of steal. Well, you know, just kind of just kind of stole what PUBG was doing. So it's cool that PUBG is counteracting and making the right decisions and trying to keep the game fresh.
People are liking my Halo Ducky gameplay, man.
Oh well, I mean, look, that was last week's play. I mean, last week's gameplay. So I don't care about who's
that wasn't last week's, man.
I'm talking about my gameplay.
No, but I was talking about mine. Like Supersonic in the chat. Look, hey Mega. Yeah. Have you played?
Oh, this got jokes.
If not, watch the gameplay because there's going to be some highlights here. You might want to get into this game.
I have played the game. Anyway, so me and Don supposed to go ahead and go through it. So I'm going to have some fun doing that, trolling the haters as always. But anyway, PUBG is, to keep it fresh, they do need to add more different content, and the things that they're doing right now, it's showing that they're still committed, and that even though they're over 35 million sold, I think they're probably close to 40 now, right? So I mean, it's just like they're going to keep on progressing. Fortnite is going to keep doing the same thing. These are two behemoths, and there's going to be a lot of changes with these games, and I think it's great for the gamer.
Guys, the question with PUBG, like a lot of people are asking about the longevity. If they keep doing stuff like this, right? If they keep adding maps, even though the maps have been on PC before, a lot of the people I game with are like strictly console gamers and stuff like that, who are looking forward to this game officially dropping for everybody in this map officially dropping for everybody in May. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with the tropical map as well. And I stated back in the day when people started questioning the longevity, I was like, well, what they need to do is they need to support this game and keep adding content. Just to let people know, they also have other ideas that they're kind of developing. They're trying to do a proper night map. And they're also trying to do a snow map as well, which I hear is actually further along than what people really realize. They haven't put it out there yet on the PC test servers or anything like that. But that one's also close to going into testing on the PC side of things. So, you know, you got the game modes, you got the different maps and stuff like that. I feel PUBG is probably as strong as ever, and it's not a free-to-play. Oh, my goodness.
Right. That's the other thing about, to me, why I think PUBG has the nod, because of the fact that, if you remember when Fortnite when it cost money, when it wasn't free, then it nobody wasn't talking about it, just only a few people. And when once they did this
Fortnite
battle
was
royale
almost
mode,
dead when it was just Save the World, man.
right? And people were actually telling me, well, it'd be better to just wait that year when it's a free to play, and then a lot of people because I was looking at it that way until all day, suggested that this is the greatest thing next to sliced bread, and then stop playing it. But that was, I was like, okay, well, I'll just go ahead and get it, and then I got my money back because everybody else jumped off of it. I'm like, well, look at this turd, you know what I'm saying? Well, I got to get off of it, and never even played it. I still haven't played Fortnite yet.
With Fortnite, I really like to see
what the game looks like in person.
I don't know. I really like the Save the World part. I was one of those people that when they were saying how the numbers were dwindling when it came to Save the World, it was before the Battle Royale came out. I was like, why? It's a fun game. I realized that it's not free to play yet. I was like, all they have to do is get to that point, that date when they make this game free to play for everybody else, because I didn't have any problems putting down, money for the Founders Pack or anything like that to be able to play the game. And I was like, as long as it can live until it goes free to play. And then what happens? Battle Royale, they add that into it, getting some mysterious source code to make it. I just wonder where they got it from. But then it just all of a sudden blew up to the point now where, Battle Royale is talked about with 343, with EA, with Ubisoft. Like, it's going all the way throughout the development community. So, I don't know. I think PUBG is still going to stand strong. I see it.
Me too.
I see it stronger than I did before with actually experiencing this map and seeing that it's PUBG, but it's still a lot different. And just with the change of scenery and the terrain, it makes you think a lot differently when it comes to that game. So, I should be on it at some point in time this weekend. So for people who have me on their friends list on Xbox, you see me on, come on, join up and we will play that. But we got to talk about something else I am really, really excited about, and a lot of people out there should be excited about it too. And we'll get into the reason why, and that is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Have you guys seen the reveal trailer for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. First off, we're going Mayan, all right? Mayan apocalypse. You saw the eclipse, there was a sacrifice going on, all sorts of goodness. Avers, I gotta ask you, man, what do you think about the third part to this reboot, man? This trilogy when it comes to Lara Croft. Are you excited for this? Was there anything in the trailer that you pointed out, like in particular, that you saw that was like, wow?
Yeah, a couple things. So first, you have to reference the two previous games before you talk about what we saw in the trailer and what we're looking at with some of these screenshots that we've seen so far. So, I mean, with what they delivered with the reboot and then doubled down and even improved upon how incredible that game was. By the way, I'm playing that game again right now on the definitive edition on Xbox One, since I played the 360 one back when it came out. And it still holds up. It's still cinematically and story-wise, it really, really works. Even with the best of what we have out story-wise right now today. It's right there neck and neck, if not maybe even possibly better than some of the games that we're talking about these days. So you got to look at what they did with those two games. There's no way they're going to mess up this third game. So anybody that's worried about that or cautious or any of that stuff, that's nonsense. I mean, just remember how great those two games were. Arguably, Rise of the Tomb Raider might be the game of this generation. It's tough to say. There's been a lot of great games, but it's definitely up there. They're not going to drop the ball on this. It's going to be more of what you loved about those two games, and they're going to innovate, and they're going to show you some things that you haven't seen, just like the last two did over all the previous Tomb Raiders. Then secondly, with what we saw in the trailer, everyone has been kind of mentioning this a little bit. It does look dark. It does look very bloody. I think
a little bit, huh?
Yeah, I think the reason they chose this type of trailer over all the other different things they could have done for a reveal trailer is they are trying to answer that question. They're trying to answer that desire that a lot of gamers have been saying, a lot of us have been saying. We want mature, gritty, adult type games. We want to see more of that type of material. I feel like they very intentionally crafted this to be as dark and as bloody and gritty as they could possibly get away with in a trailer. I'm surprised we haven't seen any outrage about it so far. Like we did with.
I was gonna say there are people on social media that are talking about Lara Croft is getting too dark, and I in my spare time throughout the years I've studied kind of like certain things about the Mayan culture, accuracies, fact, fiction, stuff like that. And there's points in time within the Mayan civilization that stuff did get really dark from certain like scripts that have been like discovered and stuff like that. In terms of them doing this reveal trailer specifically for that, I'm not so sure if it's that or if that is really the attitude, the mood of this game, because I've heard a couple people talking about it, and they said about how Lara Croft makes a decision in the beginning of the game, turns out to not be the best decision in the world, and kind of like dominoes start falling afterwards. And she seems really obsessed to kind of finish what her father started, almost to a point where she's getting into arguments with her friends and stuff. It just sounds like they developed this to be that darker situation. I do want to move on here to Mega, what did you think about this trailer? And then we are going to get into how it seems to be a more kind of like grown up, darker, grittier type story, but I want to hear what you thought about the trailer.
No, I thought it was great. It had a different feel to it for sure because of the dark tone or how she was just assassinating people.
Damn, she was killer, dude.
Yeah, but it also was reminiscent of the things that she does in the game, where she's using her hooks and doing all the little jumping and the swimming and her, getting into some crazy situations where she's, trapped underwater, but she comes out, and it's like it was really, really dope looking, and you just you see her from a different perspective when she's coming out of the bushes, like almost like camouflage in the background with her face all dirty and stuff. She's not all dolled up like she kind of was in the first one. And then like in the second one, she's evolved as well, and now in this third one, it seems like she's about to take that next step to be the Lara Croft that we all know and love. And then also my boy Bloody Knuckles.
I knew you were gonna bring this up too.
Yeah, because you saw it in the DMs. He was pretty upset about the whole Mayan thing because he was saying that because I guess that's part of an ancestry or something, but he was basically saying that wasn't Mayan culture, that was civilization, that was more of the Aztecs, because they never sacrificed people or anything like that. And like I said on GRG last night, it was if it's one of those things where if anybody is making a depiction of somebody's history of in culture, then they need to get it right. So I'm not going to be mad. That's, to me, I think that's warranted to be kind of pissy on that. But if anybody getting mad about a game being gritty and going another direction, and maybe there's going to be some more supernatural elements into it, man, man, whatever. I mean,
that's what I want to
pretty sure
see,
you're the
man.
same people that were bitching and complaining about how Xbox needs more mature games. And I know this is a third-party game, but this is a marketing deal. Looks like that Microsoft has with this game. So it's also showing, it's also showing that Microsoft is also supporting these type of mature games as well. So, I mean, it looks like it's just going to be a phenomenal game.
You know, it's funny. I'm trying to skirt around the whole mature thing and just try to just talk about whether we're excited or moving on from the reveal trailer, man. But it's something people really want to talk about. So let's get what Predator thinks about the trailer, and then let's dive deep into kind of like the mature aspect and in terms of what gamers want and stuff like that. But first, Predator, dude, what did you think about the reveal, and was there anything in the trailer that really like caught your eye and might have astounded you as a gamer, man?
Pleasantly surprised with the gameplay trailer. And I was not a huge Tomb Raider fan coming into this generation until I played it this last iteration on the Xbox One, and I was like, man, this game looks amazing, and with the 4K updates, and it's one of the few games like I don't strive to get 100% on every game, but I actually did for that game, and I enjoyed going through that game. It was a fun game, and I love the character Lara Croft, and her direction has changed.
I like the new one, man. I do.
Yeah, I like the new Lara Croft versus the older, like, you know, I'm wearing these tight booty shorts and like I never really gravitated toward that, but this Lara Croft, she's like you said, she's grittier. It's more hardcore for the adult gamers out there. And I know we're gonna get in this topic in a minute, but that was the most surprising thing for me, like how they kind of gone from where she was in this last version to where she is now. She seems like she's more like, you know, more pissed off and, you know, more willing to just like fuck people up. And, you know, I like that aspect of this game. So that was my biggest takeaway from the videos and the trailers I saw. Graphically, it looks amazing, but I'm sure there's going to be more to come in that later. And I think I saw somewhere, like on the business side, I think I saw somewhere if you pre-order it, you get it 48 hours earlier. I'm hoping it comes to Game Pass too, but we've kind of heard rumors about that, but we'll see what happens with that. But, you know, obviously, I think we have marketing rights for this game. It's been all over Xbox site, et cetera, et cetera. And typically when you see Xbox, the console or the Xbox logo in the package in front of everything else, that typically will kind of give you a heads up who has marketing rights for it. So plus with the guy coming over from Crystal Dynamics, I think they kind of secured that before he came over.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that, man.
So I think that's a done deal. I'm not really worried about the marketing rights.
Was it Gallagher? I think
Gallagher, yeah.
Daryl Gallagher. And also the Don brought up a point of saying that this is like another team that's working on this version of Tomb Raider. So it isn't the same group people that's been working from Crystal Dynamics.
Montreal, right?
Yeah. So again, you know, I you know, of course, I agree that they're not going to mess up this game. I'm pretty sure that, you know, it's kind of like, you know, with Coalition, they may have some people from Crystal Dynamics that actually look at it and say, you know, or maybe have some questions or things like that. But it is pretty interesting that they're going to be putting their take on this game. And, you know, and of course, I think we all knew that Laura was going into come into her own from where she started in this reboot to now where she's heading now. But it's going to be interesting how their vision is going to be implemented into this game. So, I mean, you might have some people that might not like it.
Oh, no.
But you might have some people that
Yo, Mega,
what is that?
Mega, as soon as you finish your thought right there, can you please go ahead and read one of the supporters of the channel, of the show? He put down money to say something for you.
Oh, okay. Let's see. He said, El Mega, I haven't voted and won't vote for you until I see Halo 4 gameplay where you beat it. Okay.
Should we vote for him anyway? Y'all know who the real game is.
Well, of course. I mean, that's fine.
Look at that footage right there. Look at that.
You know what I'm saying? Me and the Don is, well, I'm not up for what's called it, so it's all good. But I mean, we have to go ahead and play through it. So it's like I said, if you haven't paid attention to what I said it on GRG. Me and my son played. I played it on my son because I didn't like the multiplayer on Halo 4. I couldn't stand it. So, and I was working a ton of hours back then. So I really didn't play it on my account. I played it on his because he was killing the online. So me and him went to the co-op and we beat it on his account. So if you go through mine, no, I didn't beat it on my account, but I beat the game with my son. So that was the situation. But we're gonna go through it and we're gonna play it. So it is what it is, man.
Nice. Well, I hope you were able to look over some of the highlights. I hope it got you juice to go in and beat Halo 4 because the story is absolutely phenomenal.
I know the story is phenomenal. That's
Let's go back to Avers. Let's tackle this whole mature theme because people out there, they're talking about, the 2018 lineup with Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, which I might say State of Decay 2 is not a cartoony game. It's colorful, but when you look at those zombies and everything like that, that doesn't scream cartoon to me. But we'll go past that. The cel-shaded Crackdown and Forza Horizon 4. Now, with the drop of God of War, there seems to be this narrative that's been kind of like trying to be driven home about realistic, darker, grittier games on Xbox. And I gotta say, with Hellblade dropping, right? Hellblade coming to Xbox, games like Tomb Raider, on the horizon, where you see a priest like basically dipping his hand in blood, about ready to do a human sacrifice. You see Lara Croft catching them in the ribs at the last minute.
Yeah,
just a bunch of like dark and gritty topics and stuff. Do you guys think? And let's go K Mega, then I'll go to Avers, and then we'll go to Pred. But do you think that this will, I don't know, appease some of those people that are talking about, darker, grittier games on Xbox? Or it seems like the narratives, it suggests they have to be first party, but do you think that this could kind of like calm those things down a little bit, man?
Yeah, no, not at all. It's going to still go until there's a AAA first party title to have a mature look to it, or what I'm saying, or more of a mature graphic style to it, because you got a graphic game that's coming out here in less than a month with State of Decay 2, but the narrative is going to be, well, it's not a AAA. So again, it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, if you're Microsoft. But I will agree that there are certain games that Microsoft should be bringing to the table, but Tomb Raider is going to be, as long as Tomb Raider is going to be on the PlayStation and it won't probably be on Nintendo, but it'll be on PlayStation. It will still not be. It won't give Xbox the pass, in my opinion.
I got you. Now, shout out to the chat. We got Tryhard Fan and says they're more so talking about dark themed exclusive content. Like they don't have to be first party really, but to be somewhat exclusive. Now, in my mind, I do know exclusives. They give the personality of your hardware. All right, they give kind of like they give the personality of the hardware. Xbox, you think Halo, Gears, Forza, Fable. It gives it its kind of like style or whatnot, and I'll give you that. But why are we clamoring for exclusives if games like Tomb Raider and Hellblade and stuff like that are coming to the platform? That should, in my opinion, that should please the people that want those style games. I don't know. Avers, what do you think, man?
No, you're absolutely right there with your assessment of that. We've had a lot of great information come out recently about the way these types of things are working, and it's interesting that we would use the word exclusive like that, the way Tryhard is. Shout out to Jez Gordon, that's been kind of fighting the good fight lately. I'm sure everyone has noticed that. He's saying it doesn't really matter if it's exclusive or if it's first party or if it's this or that. Great games are great games. We should all be excited about great games, and that really kind of fits what I'm trying to get at, which is, why are we not super excited for Shadow of the Tomb Raider? Well, why did we hype up stuff like you mentioned, Hellblade, which deserved the amount of hype and attention it got? We've mentioned this on G4G for the past year. We've actually made it kind of a running joke where we always point out when people talk about Hellblade, because it didn't quite sell to the degree of how much it was actually talked about out there on the internet, on YouTube, on Twitter, on everywhere. And now we see Rise coming out, and we're saying, well, it doesn't quite fit the bill because it doesn't have exclusive content. To me, that's ridiculous. This is, we know what type of game that we're getting into here. This does fit the bill for exactly what we've been asking for. I do think we're going to get something a little bit exclusive, but it's probably going to be in the form of the X, like more enhancements and maybe some features that we haven't quite seen in the older Tomb Raider games. So I do think that that's going to come. Hopefully that'll be enough for Tryhard. I'd like him to elaborate a little bit if he can on what he thinks with that. Like where does that come from? Because I've kind of heard that narrative a little bit. Like, where did that narrative be birthed from? Like, it's a weird thing to think about.
I think that narrative got birthed from, I guess you could say, the other side of the fence. That's the way I would put it. I feel like this whole thing, and there are people out there who really do feel this way, all right? So, but I feel like the core of this narrative and how it got a hold of a piece of the gaming community, I feel like it was kind of like it was placed there by certain people, and then they just sat back and watched it grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
you're right.
That's why I play all sorts of games. But I really like Avers. I really like the fact that you brought up, stuff about the Xbox One X, because the Tomb Raider reboot franchise in particular has been known to take advantage of the Xbox hardware. So, in essence, this game might not be an exclusive, but I feel like, the best place to play this game, the most graphical, for your price point or whatever, is going to be on the Xbox One X. Doesn't that make it some type of, like, I don't know, special game when it comes to Xbox?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the thing that we've talked about before with Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, where you had certain content that was in the game that was exclusive to Sony because they signed a deal for a year or 2 years or however long it ended up being with that stuff. So essentially, I've said this before, essentially the best place to have played Destiny was on the PlayStation. You kind of needed to buy a PlayStation to get the best version of it. Now, in a way, you kind of need to buy an X to get the best version of Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And that's not really going to be disputable unless you have like a $4,000, $3,000, whatever it is that you need PC. I don't know anybody that is putting out that kind of money for PCs. I don't have any friends that know anybody that's putting out that money. So it's really not in the conversation. X is really going to have exclusive features. We know it. We've seen it in Rise. Look how beautiful that game is. You just mentioned, I mean, if you've seen that on a 4K TV with all the assets, essentially it's an ultra settings version of the game. You know what you're going to get with this, and this is going to be an upgrade because they've evolved some of their assets since then. So I mean, yeah, this pretty much is in a way an X exclusive because of those features.
That's interesting, and it's kind of the way I like how you compared it with the whole Destiny thing. And when I hear it like that, man, it even makes more sense to me. So I want to move over to Predator. Yo, Pred. Darker, grittier Tomb Raider, not necessarily labeled as an exclusive, but you heard what Avers said. You know that the Tomb Raider franchise, the reboot, does definitely take advantage of Xbox hardware. Do you think this will kind of quell? I guess you say quell, kind of like the clamoring for those darker, more mature games on Xbox, man.
No, because Xbox gamers are real fickle. So, I mean, we are like let's put it out like that. I mean, like we complain about everything. We don't support a lot of stuff that we should support, and then we complain we're not getting what we individually want. So, like yeah, you already gave the narrative. It's not an Xbox exclusive, so it doesn't count. So, if it was an Xbox exclusive, that'd be a different story. But even though we have marketing rights, and we'll go into the business side of this in a second, but like, even though we have marketing rights for this game, I think people are more or less saying we need something more exclusive that makes you want to buy the console. That's also an adult gritty game, like a grittier Fable, like a gritty Rise, like a gory, God of Gears of War. We need something on the God of War level, which is what people have been complaining about the last couple of days. Since God of War come out.
God of War has been out for so long. Why is this narrative being pushed now?
Because we don't have anything like that.
Dude, what other exclusives? What other exclusives were dark though on Xbox? Think about it, man.
None. I mean, Gears maybe.
You didn't think Mass Effect was dark?
The original,
the first one,
the trilogy.
That wasn't.
Well, that wasn't all exclusive to Xbox.
The first one.
Man.
They were exclusive.
No, not all of them. The first one was. Not all the other ones after that were not exclusive. And that's but to see even K-Mega's doing it. It's the narrative. Like it's got to be an exclusive. You know, it can't be a multi-plat. So like people are like, we need an exclusive gritty game. So and that's
if we get one like that, they'll be like, no. What I was talking about, the main character needs to have like half a leg and it needs to crawl or
and a head and like in a good story. Like it's always going to be something. That's why I don't think it will ever get resolved because we can come out with a gritty, dark Fable, right?
Yeah.
Oh well, that game got canceled a couple of years ago. That's not the same Fable you guys were going to get, or it's not gritty enough, or it's on PC. Like that's what they'll come up with some excuse and some reason to not like it. And if you've been an Xbox gamer for this generation, you know that there's always a reason. There's always one. That's what the one stands for in Xbox One. There's always one reason for them to not like a game or a franchise or a system or a feature. It's always one fucking reason.
Pred, I hope Graphic God is watching right now because that is a slogan that needs to be on a t-shirt. And if he isn't, man, you better DM him.
I've said that before. I've said that like plenty of times before. The Xbox, the one stands for one fucking reason. There's always one reason. So like, and that's why the goalposts keep moving. So yeah, we might get a gritty, perfect dark, like something like that. But there's always going to be a but in there somewhere. Right? It doesn't matter. So, is it cool they went this way with the franchise? Yeah, but is it going to satisfy the Xbox gamers out there or the Xbox haters out there? No.
Dude, I am so excited for this. And guess what? It's a multi-plat, people. If you're not excited for it on Xbox, you could be excited for it on PlayStation. You could be excited for it on PC. I feel like they say that there is a definitive moment in this game that takes Lara Croft and makes her Tomb Raider. Like, it gets to that point. It gets so extreme that there's no other way to go. This is
the business part I was saying earlier where it kind of pissed me off about this deal with Crystal Dynamics in this game, right? This is a game they should have locked down. Not necessarily exclusive, but they had a 1-year exclusivity with the first game. Microsoft has to start actually being a little bit more aggressive with their marketing deals, like, and say, hey, we want this game as a one, like how fucking PlayStation did with Destiny, right? Like, we want this game, we want that. And I know Phil doesn't like this shit. I think it's bullshit, but if they want people to gravitate more towards their console, the console is made to play games, not to play features. So if they want people to come to their console, they have to bring them games that are only going to be on that console.
Well, as far as like a year exclusive, like for the Shadow of Tomb Raider, I mean, they got absolutely hammered when it was like that for Rise of Tomb Raider.
Oh, so Destiny can do it, right?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Like, I think Xbox is doing absolutely everything they can to change the narrative. Like they were stamped as the anti-gamer, anti-consumer console for this generation. And I think when it comes down to it, you got a lot of people that talk that quote unquote doom and gloom, which I don't talk here because I see the glass half full when it comes to Xbox. I see a lot of stuff that they're doing, innovation within the industry, and when you see the 180 that they did from the beginning of this generation until where we are right now, as a division, as a company division, that is absolutely incredible. And of course, it is,
because that took a lot of time, money, and effort to do that, and they did it instead of this. Like the old Microsoft would have just caved in and be like, okay, we're selling the Zune, we're selling the Xbox division,
we're selling Windows Phone. That's it.
Yeah, so that they would have caved in, but they decided to stick through it, and they're still playing catch up to some degree. Side note, that's some new gameplay footage for the new map in PUBG y'all watching right now.
Yeah, dude, so, you got me. Yeah, I'm like drooling over here. I can't wait to get into that, man.
But they've been playing catch up, man, and it's like and like you said, the narrative and the goalpost keeps changing, and they're always constantly trying to catch up to that. And it seems like Sony's always been one step ahead of them. in that area. So they've got to kind of do something groundbreaking and do something different for a change instead of doing the same old.
I think they just gotta have. I think they just gotta have a direction and go with it. All right, that's what I think. That's what Sony does. If you look, you don't have PlayStation dudes like on Twitter or anything like that really engaging with the consumer base, with the gamers out there and stuff like that. You see Microsoft doing that a lot. You have to have a certain direction. You can't listen to absolutely everything that the gaming community says that they want, because at one point in time they were good with no marketing deals or anything like that with games. So Xbox division is like, all right, awesome, the gaming community is like, we're cool with that. And then like a year later they're like, where the hell are the marketing deals, man? We want exclusive content for this game and that game. And it's like, well guys, you just said last year, oh man, we can't listen to the community like that. We have to have a direction and then use what the community is saying to flesh out that direction. That's what I think they need to do, man. I feel like they're gonna do it.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I do.
I was just going to Mega too. So Mega.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get some of what Pred is saying. I mean, we've been hearing this. We've been hearing this for too long, in my opinion. I mean, I get, to keep saying it until it sticks or until we get what we want. I understand that aspect of it. But again, when you bring up opinions instead of the facts, it tends to, this narrative is always going to be pushed by these haters, by these Xbox haters, because of the fact that it just resonates with all over the place. I mean, when people say that Sea of Thieves is trash, that's an opinion. The fact of it is, the Sea of Thieves is the highest selling.
There's somebody specifically I think you're talking about, man, because there was somebody I commented. Usually I know him from Facebook, but he has crept over into Twitter, and he's like spouting his opinion as that they are fucking facts, like, and I'm like, oh really, man, you're here too.
And well, and regardless of that, though, I mean, the Sea of Thieves is Rare's best-selling property ever. So the fact of it is that the game has sold really well. The game is a hit. It is true that there's people out there that don't like the game, just like any other game out there. There are people out there that don't like everything that seems to be popular. There's people out there that don't like Uncharted 4, even though Uncharted 4 sold around 10 million copies. There's people that don't like Halo. Halo sold just about the same or maybe a little bit more. It's not about your opinion is only valid is when you address it as an opinion. So with Xbox having no games or not bringing out mature games, this thing to me, it's opinionated because, like I said, State of Decay is mature. It's just that you want a game to look a certain way to make it feel like that, like, oh well, we can present this game and throw it out there and say, hey, it's just like a PlayStation game. No, what PlayStation is doing with what they did with God of War, it's kind of like a reboot or whatever. For what they're doing with The Last of Us, this is something that they had to change up and do from last gen. So, you know what I'm saying? And so Xbox is going through that transition right now. And if people don't think that we're going to get any mature games, then you're not a gamer to me. I think that, what I'm saying, that Xbox is definitely going to bring more mature games. It's just that they're keeping tight-lipped about it. And once they do bring them out, they're going to get shit on anyway because they're Xbox games. It's like it's going to be ridiculous. So, again, I try to keep a positive outlook on everything just because of the fact that us as content creators, we're objective, and it's fine to be objective. But look, the doom and gloom aspect where Xbox is we're going to see Halo on the PlayStation 4 because they're giving up services. Well, PlayStation is just now came out and did a report. It was yesterday where they're going to start doubling down on services because the PlayStation console has hit their plateau. They're not going to sell a lot more PlayStation 4s, so they're going to start going with services. They're going to start promoting to buy PSN with Netflix with it. Oh, TV? Are you kidding me? So the whole talk from 2013 has just been erased damn near 5 years later because of the fact that they are doubling down on going to do what the same thing Microsoft is going to do. And eventually, Nintendo can just stay Nintendo because Nintendo is thriving off.
They can do whatever the hell they want, man.
Yeah, they can just do whatever they want.
They had a speed bump with the Wii U, but that was about it, man. And
there's even you too now, though.
Yeah, well, you'll start seeing a lot more games, a lot more PlayStation games come to the PC. I mean, it's just like I bought Nuni Kuni on the PC. So, you know what I'm saying? But I still look at it as a PlayStation exclusive because it's not on the Xbox. Regardless, these narratives that keeps bringing up about Xbox this, Xbox that, they're going to continue until Xbox, to me, starts winning the market share, starts winning these NPDs, starts really doing everything what PlayStation did this generation. And until then, you're going to keep hearing it. So, I mean, I have faith into the Xbox team that they're going to deliver on what the fans want, and we just got to be patient with it.
Dude,
do you guys think?
Oh, go ahead, Avers.
Do you guys think that they can though? K-Mega, do you? And also, I'd like to get Pred and Xbox. Can they actually start to win those NPDs? Is that even possible?
Not this generation. I think this generation is pretty much locked down for PlayStation. But once you get into the next, I think what Xbox is doing is learning from their mistakes, just like PlayStation did by being too cocky because of the last gen. You had the PlayStation 2, one of the best-selling consoles of all time. And they came in looking at the 360 like they looked at the original OG Xboxes, like we're gonna curb stomp their ass just like we did, last gen. And then what happened there was some aggression. There was a whole different attitude coming from Xbox because they were hungry, and so I think for what they got complacent this generation, Xbox did, and because what the 360 did, the Xbox hasn't done. If you want to go and look from generation to generation, the Xbox One compared to the 360 is a disappointment compared to that. You know what I'm saying? Just like the PlayStation 3 is a disappointment from the PlayStation 2. So they had to make these choices, and they had to be just as hungry like they were with the PlayStation 4. So Xbox had to learn to stop being so lenient on everything and just to go ahead and now start being aggressive on bringing the games. They got the console. They're just taking a different approach other than what Sony is doing by being so aggressively in your face. They're going kind of like the nice guy role, but it doesn't matter if they do the nice guy role as long as the games come what the game has been asking for. Well, so yeah, I do think it's going to happen.
Yo, Avers, I want to say about that. Like, I look at what Xbox is doing, and this is why when people are talking about like all this negativity for Xbox, I don't see it. All right. Me and Predator said they did a complete 180 this generation. That does not take like a minuscule amount of time to do, especially with what they did with software updates and stuff like that to make sure there was no always online and stuff like that. But as they're pushing forward, and I believe that all that 180 and bringing out the X, that put funds that the Xbox division had into one particular category, right? But when you see them come out with Game Pass and you see them putting their exclusives into Game Pass this year, day and date of the worldwide release, telling people that they want to have a Netflix-style gaming service, that tells you right there that they are all in on first-party game development.
Absolutely.
All right? They're not going to have 50 new first-party development teams in one day. All right? It is going to take time for that to develop. But at the end of the day, I see Xbox pushing the console space into a place they haven't gone before. A couple different places, if you really think about it. Forwards and backwards compatibility when it comes to new hardware. A Game Pass subscription service, right? Where you can play all the exclusive content and more for $10 a month. This is stuff that we've never seen in the console space to this extent. And I think this is what is going to drive Xbox into the future. There's going to be haters out there all the time. But at the end of the day, as long as your preferred platform is making money and taking that money and investing it back into developing new games, coming out with new hardware, innovating the industry, there's nothing more you can ask for. You know, if people want to have a huge dick-waving contest and say my platform is better than yours over numbers, All right, you guys go do that on Twitter on your own time with your own like little crew in the corner, because that's not what gaming is about. All right, it's not about who sold the most consoles. It's about who's pushing the industry forward. Who is bringing these new experiences, these new ways to play games and stuff like that. And I feel that Xbox is going to be front and center moving into the next generation and beyond with that, man.
Absolutely. That was well said. Incredibly well said. Definitely.
I can answer this question a little bit too. Like, I don't really think Microsoft even gives a shit about NPDs at this point. Of course, they want to move units and move consoles, but as long as their company is profitable in the gaming division, I don't really think they're putting too much thought in the NPDs and the console sales at this point. That's why they don't even announce their sales anymore. I mean, they might be at 50, maybe 45, but to them, it's like, okay, we're more concerned about our subscriptions right now. So as long as they're making money, dude, it don't fucking matter to them. It'd be nice to move consoles, but I honestly don't think they'll win another NPD this generation. They'd have to drop the price of the X down.
Like
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, but I don't think they'll win another NPD. I'm going back to his original question. Mm-hmm. I don't think they'll win another NPD this generation. Maybe the holidays, if they do like a significant price drop on the X. But I think people have pretty much drawn their line in the sand of what console they're going to get, and they're going to make that decision next generation going forward and see what happens there. But right now, it is what it is, man. This is a loss for the Xbox, as far as the sales goes. Maybe at the end of the generation, kind of like how PlayStation kind of caught the Xbox at the end of the last generation. It might be one of those scenarios when everything gets dropped down in price so far that it's really affordable, but as long as they have a $500 console out there that's not dropping exclusive content, exclusive games, they're going to continue to lose every NPD.
Hey, Pred, I got to say something, because a lot of people bring up the fact that the PS3 caught up to the 360 last generation. There's something I want to point out there. It's something that's probably never going to happen again. What was the longest generation in console gaming?
It was that one, wasn't it?
It was that one, all right? Usually, the generation is half the length of time that the 360 PS3 generation was. So, if that last generation was your typical, 5-6 year generation, do you think they would have caught up at that point in time?
I mean, and even in this situation, people were talking about the PlayStation 5, do you understand, if they announce it, one of the reasons why the Xbox One, the original, and the Slim kind of stopped selling is because they kind of stopped talking about, they started talking about the Xbox One X. So I would not pick up an S if I knew the X was coming out.
I didn't pick up an S because I knew the X was coming out.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen if they announce a PlayStation 5. You think they're going to keep pushing numbers like that? No. The X will drop down in price. The X will drop down in price, and in anticipation of the PlayStation 5, and Microsoft might make gains then. But as long as, like I said, as long as they're selling this console at $500, it's not going to push units the way they want them to. They're going to have to drop the S down significantly and probably take another $100 off the X.
What I'm trying to say is, at the end of the day, last generation, Sony screwed up big time with the price of the PS3 and everything like that. But at the end of the day, they had double the time to turn it around as well. What Microsoft has done here in the amount of time that they have done it, man, gamers should look at that and be like, damn, can you believe that's what they did? And they switched it around. And to this day, they are still doing great in the terms of, when it comes to console sales this generation and all that good stuff. They're still doing really good. All right, the whole thing was, with doing that whole 180, I feel like their funds got funneled into changing narratives and stuff like that, which I feel they didn't really have to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? I feel they could have rolled that out all the way to the end of this generation and then came out with the new Xbox. But I am kind of glad they did, because I love my X, man. I love the performance of my Xbox One X. But you guys see what I'm saying? When PlayStation messed up, it was a point in time where that generation was double the normal console generation. They had double the time to turn it around, yo. Okay. Isn't it kind of impressive what Xbox has done within this time span.
Well, look at it this way. Imagine if this would have been Sony that had to do this. Like as much as they sold off to get above the red and et cetera, like if Sony would have had to completely redo their entire launch, like the way Microsoft did with the Xbox, I don't even think they'd be around right now.
No, like if you go back to 2013 and they had to do it from all that, they wouldn't have been able to do that, man.
No, they wouldn't have. And that's the thing. Well, no, that's the thing that I just wanted to agree with Pred, is that they were already hurting in when he first started this generation, because maybe of the fact that they were putting so much emphasis on the games that they brought out at the end of the generation and hoping that they would strike gold, which they did. And then the aggressive marketing. Look, Xbox, we all know, shot themselves in the foot with what they did in 2013. Not so much about, to me, it wasn't about having a side thing talking about the television, because that got me hyped, because I always was wanting to, because I always would listen to sports on the radio while I'm playing the game. So if I snapped playing a sports game, and while I'm playing a game, it was like it was so great to me. And when there was a great play that happened, I could always hit the snap feature and just watch the game and then go right back into what I was doing after I watched that highlight. So I love the snap feature. I wish they would bring it back. But again, all those TV features were another incentive for me to get it. I don't, I'm saying? I know that some gamers would saying, TV, all that stuff. It was the connect that was forced into the box that added that $100 price right after coming after the recession is what doomed the Xbox. It wasn't about DRM and all that other stuff, because those were the hardcore talking about DRM. It was the price. When you seen a PlayStation 4 for $400 and you just came out of recession, you haven't had a raise in about 2 years, you're just glad to just keep your damn job, and you over here want to buy your kids something for Christmas. That PlayStation 4 looked really hell of appealing compared to a $500 console. And then on top of that, the Xbox did sell pretty well until the graphics comparison came about, the 1080p, 720p, and that did it, Jack. That did it. To me, it would have been completely better as we look back in hindsight, if the Xbox was going to do the original thing and wait to bring out the Xbox a year later, like Albert Pinillo and them was suggesting.
They say hindsight is 20/20, man. You get perfect vision when you can look backwards.
Exactly.
Yeah, but on that note, let's push forward to the next topic, because it was something that we were talking about on Crossfire yesterday. We kind of touched on briefly with Rand, and for people who don't know, Rand Althor in the Xbox community, he is a guy who can definitely be in the know. And on last night's Crossfire, he said there is a very good chance that we get a Halo spin-off that is basically an all multiplayer game. There is no single player to it. Now, this is what I'm saying, guys. This is not Halo 6. It is a spin-off that they might plan to drop this year. The rumors are starting to kind of pick up speed on this whole situation. Now, I was asked about this last night, and I will put my opinions out here. A spin-off with how big the Halo universe is and where the story is going, with having a new Spartan program for people who are volunteering and trying to get into that program, instead of being, young kids getting kidnapped and injected with all sorts of things to make them like diesel super soldiers and stuff. I feel like they have opportunities here for spin-offs within that Spartan program that can be a multiplayer only experience. So I would actually be on board to see what they might have planned in terms of a multiplayer only Halo spin-off. But there seems to be a lot of negativity out there. There are people saying that, Halo needs to have a story. And again, I am not talking about the core. I'm not talking about Halo 6. I'm not talking about an ODST, but a multiplayer spin-off. So, Predator, I'm not sure how big you might be into the Halo franchise or whatnot, or if you really don't care. But what do you think about a possibility for a Halo spin-off all multiplayer, no single player campaign coming out this year, would this be something that Microsoft and Xbox should do?
I don't think that's something they should do with a storied franchise already. Like it would be different as a new franchise, a new game, like a brand new game or something like that. But with Halo, a lot of people look forward to the story. Now, a spinoff of the story, like how they did ODST, I wouldn't be opposed to that if that's what it's going to be. But it's got to be like the full up multiplayer and single player experience. You can't just split them up. That this doesn't make any sense to me because we're so used to having both of them in both games. It's like what they're doing with Call of Duty going forward. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But you get used to having that story mode. You know that campaign. And if they took that away, they kind of like would just be like a slap in the face to the hardcore gamers, the hardcore Halo fans out there, because that's what a lot of people play Halo for that because there's so much lore inside that franchise, that universe. And if it's just a multiplayer only game, you're really not getting anything but the multiplayer we have on Halo 5 now, just uprest, so it to me it would look like a cash grab, just like, hey, let's put something out for people to play to make Halo relevant, and then we'll push Halo 6 out the next year, where they could just wait and include it all in one game. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not. It would, again, I love Halo. I would love to see another Halo this year, but if they have to wait to put it all in one game, I'm definitely okay with that. I really don't want to see them split them up like that, because what you're basically splitting. So what happens when Halo 6 comes out?
Well, what if the multiplayer part of it, because when it came to Halo 5, there were rec packs, there were different armor pieces, different weapons to go into, like, that you would be able to get and go into Warzone and use them and stuff like that. If they linked this multiplayer to Halo 6 when it comes out possibly next year, like, I see it as like a growing multiplayer space, that started this year with a game this year. To me, well, first off, I'm not done with you yet, Pred. I got a couple more questions for you, but huge shout out to Cyrus Burke, who said, since the OG Halo community wants the classic Halo multiplayer back, this spinoff could be that. This spinoff could play like the Halo 3 multiplayer, in my opinion. And dude, that is actually a great point. I personally don't feel that 343 wants to go backwards right now, but I do know there's always a piece of the Halo community that screams Halo 3. I do know this, and if they can cater to those people and still come out profitable and kind of, I guess you could say buy time until Halo 6 comes out, they could very well possibly do that, man. But
you got one more bill in there too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, all right, Predator, let me see here. We have Biggie. What is up, Biggie? He said, just wanted to say how much I appreciate you and how well this panel uses rational thought to articulate the argument. Keep up the good work, yo, Biggie. Thank you so much, man. You have no idea how much comments like that, whether it's in the chat right now, on Xbox Live, on Twitter. Guys, I read all that stuff, man. It gives me more motivation to do even more, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you, Biggie.
Now, I'll say this, because I know you're probably going to ask this question. I could see this being a successful game plan for them, though. Imagine them putting a multiplayer-only in-game pass for Halo, and how successful that would be.
See, I wasn't even thinking that, but damn, that's a good idea.
I was going to say that.
I think it would make sense, because with them going to a service-based thing, this is one of their biggest franchises, and you can get people sucked into that, and again, I almost hate I have a master's in business, but like you start adding in the stupid ass loot crates and shit in that, and that's just money for them. I mean, it's hand over fist for them.
Well, the rec packs in Halo 5, like, to me, they are the best option out of anything we've seen this generation in terms of microtransactions, because you can grind and you can get all the recs, without spending a dime. It's actually what I did in Halo 5. Now, granted, I have like over 3 months in game on Halo 5, but it wasn't like 3 months that I feel were wasted either. It's a quality multiplayer, and if this is why I say, if the game is that good, why would you be upset about spending more time in it to get what you want? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I typically only play through the main story once, maybe twice if I'm playing with some friends, and then it's all multiplayer from there. I mean, like, and that's where the bread and butter is those rep packs and people just consistently coming back to the multiplayer playing on maps. So I could see if their main goal is to put this, even if it's not in Game Pass, just to make this, a straight up rec pack cash cow, it would be profitable for them. But I still want the story.
I got you, man. See, now the question I was going to ask you before I move on to the rest of the panel, I had to ask you if you beat the stories to Halo 4 and Halo 5.
I've beaten every Halo. Matter of fact, I think I got Halo 3 2 weeks early.
All right. With that being said, do you remember?
Unlike someone else on our podcast.
Do you remember in Halo 4?
You haven't finished Halo 4?
The Don! What is up, man?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to make it, guys, but I made it. So hopefully I can contribute something before you guys end.
Nice.
Well, I have a feeling this is a topic that you might really want to chime in on. We talked about it yesterday with Rand and Mooch Crap and all of them on Crossfire. The possibility about an only multiplayer Halo dropping this year. And I was going to point out to Pred something about Halo 4. They had Halo 4's story in it, but if you guys remember, they also had something called Spartan Ops, which was basically you and your friends going in as the new Spartans, and there was a story being told within that, but it was multiplayer only, really.
I remember that. I don't think I played too much of it, though.
Dude, I beat it all.
I know you did.
Dude, that story was great. That story actually at the end shows you how Dr. Halsey loses her arm.
Yeah, that was the whole entire story arc of that one.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. How Dr. Halsey became left-handed. I think it was her right arm. I'm not too sure. But go ahead, Don. We haven't heard from you all night, so man, what do you think about this? Is this something doable? Should they do this when it comes to a Halo game?
I think they need to stick to their guns. To be honest with you, Halo is not perceived how it once was. The last Halo, people feel like there's missteps in the public. They have to get a proper Halo game done right first before they try to do all these little spin-offs. And that's kind of how I feel. Now, I'm sure there are things they're working on other than just the latest Halo, but I just don't get this impression this is what they're doing.
So you don't think this is gonna come? Because with talking to Rand last night, and like I said, this guy, he is a man within the community that can definitely be in the know. He was leaning more towards they're working on something that could possibly happen like this. And in my opinion, when it comes to how big the Halo universe is and how we have a new Spartan program now that, there are more mature people trying to get into that program and stuff like that, they could very well make a spinoff that could just be like the new Spartan training, getting ready to go up against Cortana or something like that, and make it multiplayer based and even have a battle royale in it, which is something Rand kind of
I think you're just letting I think your imagination is getting the best on this one because you love it.
It could work though, man.
Like, here's the thing: is like Halo is the way I look at it is Halo is one of those games that doesn't need to follow others.
That is true.
It is a game that basically sets its own precedence as far as that goes, and it's actually a trend center instead of the other way around. So. I don't think Halo will benefit from that, to be honest with you. And we all know there's a plethora of Battle Royale modes. We've all heard them coming around the corner. So, I'm already Battle Royale'd out. Like, I think the last time Snap says, let's come play PUBG, I'm like, no. And it's not because I don't like Snaps. It's because I'm done with PUBG.
But they got a new
over it.
map, man. Come on.
Yeah, but the game's still in preview, so it still plays like a preview game. I want to play finished games. I play my own unfinished game all the time. Why do I want to play someone else's unfinished game? So you know what I mean? Like
that is a tough problem to have from a developer, man.
It is developer problems. That's for sure. But that's kind of my take on it. There are things I think they want to explore, and I think there's a lot of in the lore they want to explore in game form, and I think they can do it. I mean, that's what 343 is for. It's handling the franchise. It's almost kind of like LucasArts in a sort of way was handling Star Wars. So they handle all the merchandising. They handle a lot of things. When a lot of people talk about how many people they have under the roof, people don't realize that a lot of those people sometimes don't have anything to do with the game. You know what I mean? It has to do with the franchise.
There's a whole thing. You got like toys, games, potential
figures.
Yeah, to potential movies, TV shows, and stuff like that are in the pipeline when it comes to the Halo franchise. So it is a lot bigger than maybe the casual gamer just coming across like Halo 5 or hearing about like Halo 3 or something like that. It is a really big universe out there that kind of stretches out into multiple directions, man.
Yeah, and then I do want to see them stretch their wings and maybe see different types of Halo games down the road. And I hear like where you're coming from, but like it's just going to get lost amongst many other things. And then what you're going to end up with is people caring a little less about Halo coming when the franchises.
Dude, I like GD's idea in the chat. 20-player co-op Halo. Let's go. I am down. Yeah.
And who knows what these rumors are in relationship to. Like, we know 343 is going to be there. I mean, it could be anything from hypothetically a VR experience with Halo, or something entirely new or different, or an expansion off the last Halo, just to kind of tie people over until it's time, sort of thing. So, we don't really know what all this hubbub.
Dude, they come out with a Halo this year that is like this, dude. It is to hold people over and stuff like that. It will add to the universe and all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, the foundation of that game is like, oh shit, we didn't get Halo 6 out this year. Let's hold them over. At least hold them over with something quality, though. That's what I think it would be, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got a bunch of talented people that come from different parts of the industry at 343. I know some of people's history there, but I just don't. I don't perceive this being what they're doing with their time. I just don't think that is the case.
I got you. Well, let's switch over to Avers, our special guest. Don, I don't know, like if you were able to say hi, but Avers, the Don, and
it's one of the main reasons why I came on, so I can actually.
I know it, Avers. Man. Dude, I was thoroughly excited as soon as he said yeah. What happened?
I said YouTube Red.
YouTube Red.
Thanks.
And he's just like, yeah, okay.
I think he said he'll be right back if he ain't back.
No, I'm here.
All right, what about Avers?
That's what I was talking about.
Yes, yeah, no, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
All right, cool. Avers, what do you think about a possible, on multiplayer only Halo? Do you think it would work if it came out this year? You heard the opinions throughout the panel or whatnot, but what do you think, man?
Well, a couple things here. So Microsoft has kind of dabbled with the idea of doing that with certain properties. We heard about this with Crackdown 3, I believe it was last year, that they might do like half a game, like you get your single player right now, and then when we can deliver the multiplayer version a year from now, as it wasn't ready back then they'll deliver that in two pieces, and they kind of thought better of it. So I see it as not being completely past the realm of possibility with Microsoft. I definitely think it is something they could do, but I would have to ask you, a little bit more about this than I do. This is the first time hearing of this type of thing. So how many projects would this be in the works at one time? So we have the Master Chief Collection, essentially. They're revamping that, right? For the X, essentially.
Yeah. And
so you got that.
They have gamers testing out
Yes.
You know, that the Master Chief Collection, the update within stages. So that's
Yes.
going on behind closed doors as
So
well.
you got that, and then you've got they're doing basically a Halo PC thing in conjunction with the tech that was taken down recently, correct? For basically an online
Well,
Halo
actually,
game,
Frank
right?
O'Connor came out and stated a couple things when it came to that. That game might actually go back up at some point in time. They're trying to take out the original Halo assets that, you know, these modders had in the game, so this way they won't get in trouble as well.
Well, that's the way I took it, is that they're actually going to, you know, put some backing behind this and make it official, essentially. So that's another thing. Then they have Halo 6, which we all know is in development and they're working on. They were even hiring for people at one point in time recently.
Even people have been working on that game for over 4 years now.
Yeah,
like,
Halo 6?
Halo 6. So,
Yes.
like, it's long in the tooth, a lot longer than people realize.
Yes, yeah. So you've got those projects, and then I'm sure most of us have heard that there is some type of VR thing, or there was at one point in time. Maybe it'll never get greenlit because they kind of backed off a little bit of VR from what they originally had on their website for the Project Scorpio before it was X. So you've got all of that. Like, how believable is it? Was this confirmed, or was this purely just a rumor that you heard?
Like I said, it's rumors, and these rumors are kind of they're gaining a little more steam here. And when you have somebody, you know, the man with the million, or as he likes to call himself now, the mediocre man, that won't just automatically say no, and is actually leaning towards that there's something, you know, in the works with that. It kind of, if you're in the Xbox community, you kind of stand up and take notice. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know Rand has ties in with, you know, with Xbox. You know, he plays games with the executives. He's literally friends with people over there in Redmond. And, you know, he does his best to try to be, you know, as nice to the community as possible. He doesn't want to just flat out say no if there's a possibility. But he's in a tight situation because he's got friendships over there, and he doesn't want to take advantage of those. But he doesn't want to be basically an asshole and lie to the community either. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, definitely. So
when he skirted around that and kind of leaned more towards like there's something possibly happening, like that makes me take notice, man. And
yeah, I guess I would lean more with what the Don had to say about it on the matter, and kind of add this as a possibility. You know, we've seen other projects like Reach and the way the multiplayer worked for that, and ODST. I think it might be some kind of offshoot or expansion of the Master Chief Collection, where they really do combine all of that tech from all of those different games and make it just one big online thing to hold us over for Halo 6, if that's a possibility. But I also kind of lean towards the idea of it not being, you know, kind of what we're thinking, and them putting, yeah. Well, we've seen that happen before. We all heard rumors last year.
Halo 5 into the Master Chief Collection,
yes,
as an add-on, and then you had that multiplayer plus all the other multiplayer, and then have all that fixed by that time. I mean that has some weight to it. I would say that's a good theory.
I would think that they would really want to simplify things right now with all these different things in the talks and everything they've got going on.
You would think so, yeah. But at the end of the day, people make some really crazy decisions sometimes.
That's true.
Mega, what do you think about this, man? It's not your hashtag save lock, but it could be.
He just call you Mega Man again?
He did. Damn
it.
He did.
It's been a while, though.
Doing so good.
Yeah, but again, I mean, basically, what my thunder was taken away because of. I was just going to say this is basically the revamping of the Master Chief Collection, in my opinion. I think that they are going to amp. Well, I would say they are. I should say I'm guessing that what they're going to do
strongly believes
that with everything that they wanted to do with making it right with the Master Chief Collection, I do think that they want to get that online completely compatible and right, you know, for every gamer out there, and including Halo 5 into the Master Chief Collection would only make this game even more playable, and this would definitely die down the Halo 6 want for a little while, because and then you throw that in as in Game Pass with that crazy multiplayer. it's a wrap, Jack. That game,
Yeah.
a lot of people will be popping that game back in. A lot of people will be buying it. To do that, and if they add any enhancements, basically like just say that they want to add any as for me, lock Oni armor for each different for you can play as different Spartans, if you could play as Master Chief or as Buck or as Locke.
Hey,
or
I have Buck's armor in Halo 5, man.
well, I'm saying like you can they can have like different modes to where you could play as Locke maybe in Halo 1 or something multiplayer, or you can play as Spartan. It's I know this might be going too far into it, but that's what I would want to see is like you could have Halo 4's Chief armor being played in Halo 5 or in Halo I should say Halo 3 or something like that, to where you can customize your Spartan or your character that you like of choice, from Reach, from ODST, whatever, what I'm saying, to your liking, and just keep building from there. And then if they add anything to where it's like a battle royale mode into that, that would be absolutely sick. So, that's my only guess, because we already know that the Master Chief Collection is coming back. It's going to get revamped and it's going to be ready for the X. I can't see anything else coming in like that unless the other rumors about that Destiny type Halo to come out would be the only thing that I could think of other than that. But just separating Halo 6 multiplayer from Halo storyline would be just ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying separate it. Like, if anything, have a spin-off, but like at the end of the day, have that multiplayer kind of link in, like whatever time you played on this like multiplayer only Halo, have it link into the multiplayer Halo 6 when that comes out, and then have like certain rewards and stuff like that, unlockables and stuff that would connect the two together.
Right.
That's where I would go if the game were actually coming out. I gotta say, I think it could work. I could be in the minority here, but that's not a brand new place for me to be in. You know what I'm saying? Right. I can see it as working. I do like what Cyrus said in terms of like Halo 3, but you do also got to remember they are patching up and kind of like fixing the Master Chief Collection, which I can say there. I know I'm not a perfect YouTuber. I'm not a perfect person. I can say when I was wrong. Yo, Mega, I said that they would just leave Master Chief Collection so long ago. I said they would just leave that and ignore that even existed. And I know I told you that, Mega. And dude, I was wrong, man, because they are coming back with a patch. They're trying to fix that online. They're trying to get the situations like switching between the servers for each Halo in terms of the multiplayer and stuff like that. They're trying to get that all fixed. So, yo, shout out to you, Mega Man. You called it.
Oh, you said it again.
No, I stopped before the end.
No, you said
One more question I have for you, Bob.
Yeah.
One small question though for you.
What's up?
Why do you apologize to King Mega and not me?
Because you don't.
Because I was there. I said it too.
No, I don't remember that.
See that, King Mega? No respect, man.
Well, I just said it
Mega
first.
was here pretty much on time today, man. So.
I can leave. I can leave if you want.
Dude.
Oh, look at this, man! Come on.
Well,
Let me get my
I will.
man.
I will point back to PUBG when you tried to run me over like 3 times. Even circled the tree that I was literally hugging, so this way you didn't run me over. And I can point to that as a reason why I haven't apologized to you yet, man.
So you're still upset about me not running you over?
Do you see how the Don thinks when it comes to games, man? Oh my goodness.
The Don is crafty. Now, again, I don't know if I don't think they could do this now because I think the anniversary is over with. I think it was from last year. But if they decided that they wanted to implement like a revamped of Halo 3, like they did with the Halo 2 storyline, because that looked amazing. The difference in quality when you hit that little switch button in graphics, wow. So if they did that with 3, it would be insane. Or if they wanted to there's just so many possibilities that they could do, and that's why I just said I can't see 343 just letting that game just go to rot and die, because to me, when that game came out and it was an absolute fail with the multiplayer, it kind of gave that downturn to that downturn effect to when Halo 5 came out. It seemed like people already had a sour taste in their mouth and was expecting it was expecting this game to not be the same. And then when the story wasn't up to a lot of people's liking, it just kind of snowballed. So I think to correct it, to bring back the the Master Chief Collection, have it completely right, enhance it, add all different types of features to it, to make it more modern. To, you know what I'm saying, to you got to keep the old games the same on Halo 3 to Halo 4, but
you get crucified otherwise, man.
Right. But I'm saying, but like have all these different modes, and then you implement Halo 5. If there's a way that you can implement Halo 5 in there, that is an absolute win. And then put that in Game Pass, you got a winner, Jack.
Oh, yo, shout out to Shady in the chat. He says that he wants Halo to go with the gritty look of the Halo Wars cutscenes. And dude, I don't think you're too far from what is going to happen with Halo 6. So
I think Halo 6 is going to be really dark.
Yeah, I keep hearing that kind of like in the background, that it's going to be definitely a darker story. I mean, when you look at it, you got
it's about to go down, bot. It's about to go down.
You got the flood coming back. Atriox, Cortana.
It's going
down. Y'all getting
down.
a Spartan Strike too. Stop tripping.
Oh, no.
Oh, stop it. Oh.
No.
So you saying Spartan Assault 2 multiplayer only?
In Game Pass day and date.
When you start hearing stuff like that, it's time to change the topic. We have one more topic left, and then I will gladly, kind of like let you guys go, man. Let the gamers out there and do. I would sign a pony
contract if they pull some bullshit like that.
Well, guys, it has come out. All right, Sea of Thieves, and K Mega has stated this when it comes to the business side of things. Sea of Thieves has sold a ton, to the point where it is the fastest selling rare IP that they ever made. Now, with that being said, all right, that to me sounds like it's successful. People are buying it. Information came out when it came to people actually playing Sea of Thieves that the number of active players dropped by 50%, and they said a lot of that is due to the free trial of the Game Pass, basically running out. And there's people out there who try to put that DNG in there, man, that doom and gloom again, and they completely omitted any of the positive news when it has come to this game. So I want to ask you guys, what do you think? I'm going to start with, is the Don still in here? I can't see the hangout. Mm-hmm. All right. Don, what do you think about the news that active players have dropped by half because of, expiring Game Pass, free trials or whatever? Is this something we should expect with Game Pass as more and more people try it out and try it for certain games? And is this a fair kind of like gauge on success or not when it comes to a game that's on Game Pass, man?
I think it's inevitable when you have a service like that.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important for Microsoft to actually watch the engagement numbers, right? It's great that they sold a bunch of games, but it's also important that they cater to their customers that bought that game. Right, and that game only works if other people are playing it. So I don't think it's doom and gloom. I don't think that at all, right? But what this does is put Microsoft on notice, puts Rare on notice. I think it changed the tune of Rare. I don't think they originally were going to show their roadmap, and I think they changed their tune because of that. And they realized that there is an audience for the game, but they need to have more, and at least give them some sort of security of what their investment is supposed to be given them. So that's the way I kind of look at it. I'm hoping to see similar kind of things we need to see State of Decay, right? Mm-hmm. Because we keep looking at people are already looking at Game Pass. Game Pass helped sell Sea of Thieves. At least it seems like it. But we don't really know for a fact until we start seeing where the trend is. And so we have multiple games going back to back that we need to kind of see if those are contributing factors to this, what gives people to try out the game, get people talking about the game. And I've said this before, Microsoft they can only win over two of the three customers, right? The developer and the gamer. I think the media is a lost cause at this point. In regards to that, and I also think there's a little bit of shaming with Sea of Thieves within the community and outside of the community, that if you're playing it, you're part of the problem, that sort of thing.
Oh man, dude, yeah, living through that was insane. People have calmed down when it came to that now.
Well, they got the sales numbers and then they shut up, right? So like, here's the thing is, like, don't let other gamers speak for you, and that I think there's a segment of people that when people act like that, it kind of ruins the fun for the people that actually are enjoying it. It's like, maybe they don't like it. They're not, solid in their convictions as far as all that stuff goes, and they let that outside influence, sway their opinion, either positive or negative. So, I don't know. I just think it's inevitable with Game Pass they're going to get this. But dude, the cool thing is you got people trying, you got people talking about it, and then, and I said it's up to Rare. They're going to get people to drop off, and they're going to get new gamers coming into the game when it finds its audience. And so I think it's on its way of being what it needs to be. And those people that tried it out and didn't like it, well, no skin off their back, right? I mean, that's good.
I got you. And I think this is something, like I said, this is I look at this as uncharted waters when it comes to console gaming. It's something that we don't really know what the trend is really going to be. So I think there is going to be like hills and valleys when it comes to people interacting with Game Pass and such. And, you look at right around the corner, State of Decay 2 is coming out. There are people who said, you know what, Sea of Thieves is not really my thing, but I'll go in and I'll try State of Decay 2 with Game Pass. And you think they're not going to look over at Sea of Thieves and be like, well, maybe they just added some new content. Maybe I should download it there. And I think that's going to be kind of like the trend. You're going to have the core people who love playing that game and using Game Pass for it, because they also get the other exclusives that come out, plus like 160 other games to play. I just feel...
all games are like kind of a living game, right? Like, look at Destiny, for example. That user base has bounced all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. Destiny 1. And that's a byproduct of a game of a service, right? There are certain people that get burnt out and move on really quick. Some people come back. Sometimes their friends bring them back. That's just kind of how all that stuff works. So Sea of Thieves is no different in that sense, right? So people played what they thought, what the content offered, then they're going to bail and play other things. And that's to be expected, because there's some heavy hitters that hit that same month, right? In regards to that. So, the other real question is, once those heavy hitters, people have played through it, do they go back to Sea of Thieves? And that's something else to kind of think of. But more importantly, K-Mag, have you ever seen this game before?
Got joke.
Have you seen this before?
I think he called it.
I mean, it's familiar to me, but I'm just wondering.
He called it Super Mario Tennis when it first came around. Man, I had to let him know exactly what it was. He wasn't familiar with the graphics or the characters.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
Well, Mega, what do you think about this drop in active players for Sea of Thieves? Do you think it's something that could be a byproduct of Game Pass as a service in and of itself, or is this something that Sea of Thieves fans should be worried about, man?
No, I don't think it's something that they should be worried about per se, because as long as they bring content, the gamers will come back. Of course, the Game Pass, that had a big situation with it as well. So if another big game comes into Game Pass to where gamers want to jump in and get back in it, then there'll be people that'll jump in and play Sea of Thieves. It's just like with me, okay, like with PUBG, right? I bought PUBG for $30. This is how I look at it, for the investment of what the game is. I'm paying $30 for this game to be completely done, and then I can jump on it and enjoy it. Right now, going through it, trying to play it while it's going through its woes. I know I've heard it's gotten a lot better. I haven't played it in a while. So, but knowing when the game is done and complete, I only paid $30 for that game. So to me, that was a good investment. I think the same thing is for other gamers out there that's bought the game. or this Game Pass. And if they're playing other games through Game Pass or whatever game that they may have bought, they're going to play on that, enjoy that. And then when they hear about Sea of Thieves has added more content, everything will go up. That's all that, it's just, to me, it reminds me of the Division a little bit as well, because once everybody did whatever they wanted to do in the Division, they didn't go back, me included. Once I just like, what else is there to do? I mean, I can only do the Dark Zone so much before I get bored with it, but it was the story and the camaraderie with my with other gamers playing the game, playing that story mode was what had me fully involved into it. So I think a lot of people has gotten a feel. A lot of gamers know life games nowadays more than ever. So I think the developers has to start paying attention to that a lot more. Maybe start paying attention to what PC developers do, because there are people that will be gaming 24, 30, 36 hours, at a time, if they're streaming or whatever. And that's going to definitely take away from if you don't have any type of extra content to satisfy those people. That's how I look at it.
I got you. Well, you saw the roadmap that Rare put out there in terms of future content and whatnot.
Right.
So do you think if they can hit those marks that they were talking about with that roadmap, do you think that's enough to keep people engaged with the game into the future?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and they'll also bring in new players, because maybe Sea of Thieves wasn't their cup of tea right now, but if they bring in some really cool stuff that gets people's attention, they'll come in and they'll jump on it too. They'll probably Game Pass it, but they'll jump on, and then, like I said, it's going to be a fluctuation.
Wants them to Game Pass it too,
right,
by the way.
Right, because they're spending more money than just actually buying the game. So that's why I looked at it as a better investment for me just buying the game outright than for me getting, keep on supporting Game Pass when I have most of all those games anyway. That's on Game Pass. So it to me, I just like, hey, look, I paid $60.
Look at them bragging. I got most of those games. I got 160 games already.
I'm not bragging. I'm just saying it's just a better investment for me. But for other gamers, I totally understand it, because if there's something that they were on the fence for, or they're waiting for other content, why not just Game Pass it until, and play other games until Rare gets it together with other content.
Hey, K-Mega, the spoilers are about to happen real quick here, so you may not want to watch the podcast, because I know you haven't seen this yet.
Turn away, Mega. Turn away.
Oh, I'm not looking at it. You don't
want to ruin it.
I don't know what's worse on that.
Oh,
man.
You talking about? Oh, I thought you were saying something about Avengers or something. Not well, I'll tell you, that's all right, man. That's all right.
Well,
I'll take the heat on this. Y'all are so damn disgusting. Y'all are messy.
You know we love you, Mega Man.
Oh no, it's all love.
Again, third time.
It's so funny.
Third time.
I caught it.
I'm calling myself out now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely go ahead and show those achievements on my account, man. So,
but, all right, Avers, we need some of that common sense coming in on this topic, man. What do you think about with Game Pass? The free trial, basically people letting that run out. You see active players drop by 50% on Sea of Thieves. Is this something that, Sea of Thieves fans should worry about? You heard Dadon, man. You can't really play this game without having people on the game to play either with or against. So is this something that, Sea of Thieves fans should be worried about?
Well, I mean, the short is definitely not, because just from my experience, I made so many new friends that are constantly inviting me to parties and constantly inviting me to play a game. I can't have my Xbox on for, I'm not even joking, literally 5 minutes without getting an invite from all these new people that are still playing the game and trying to get to 50 on everything and trying to get to legendary status.
50. That is a grind, man.
What level are you, by the way?
20 somethings across the board.
Okay. This will tell you how much time, because you know how long it takes to get there. I'm at about 47 almost across the board.
It starts to slow down further you get into it as well, I noticed.
It's, I don't know, somewhere between 250 and 300 hours, I'd say, right now for me. So, and I'm not even there yet. So I probably have another 100 hours before I get there. But getting back to what I was saying, there were some great call outs with The Division was mentioned and Destiny was mentioned. We saw drop offs for those two games. If you remember, people were saying that, it was a great couple of weeks or a month of The Division, and then everyone kind of abandoned it. I think it was much bigger percentages than what's going on with Sea of Thieves. Then think about Destiny and Destiny 2 in particular, how big of a drop off that was, where it seemed to me like everybody was abandoning Destiny 2 almost at the same time here, right after the game came out. So I actually don't think it's that bad, considering that a lot of those people were Game Pass people. I do think that some of those people will end up coming back via either another month of Game Pass later on, or just buying the game. A lot of the people I know that had
you still got all the people that bought it as well. You think they're just gonna like say, all right, screw it.
Yeah, what is it at 3 million or so in sales, or something around there?
Something around there, man.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty damn good. The other thing I would say is that it seems like if you're going to be worried about anything, it would be that Rare has said they only have about a year's worth of content planned for the game.
That's in back of my mind too, man.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So that makes me wonder, what does Rare have planned, not for Sea of Thieves? What do they have planned for their next year after that? They got to have something else coming besides more content for this game. So I think that's really interesting.
I think they need to have more content than just a year's worth. But I gotta say, that roadmap, man, that was filled with a lot of content drops. So I don't know, like 1 year though, man. I've been thinking about that, Avers. That is a great point. Predator, did you chime in on this whole Sea of Thieves thing? Do you have any opinions on this?
I have not chimed in yet, but I will say I think maybe a couple of months ago we kind of talked about this before the game came out, and I mentioned this game is going to be successful long term based off its content. And if they don't continuously pipe out content, then this game is going to die, a la The Division, Destiny, and all these types of
Destiny
games.
Destiny 2, people are coming back. Like they saw the DLC that's coming out. A lot of changes that they are making to Destiny 2. There's a lot of people going back to that game, man.
Yeah, but the amount of people coming back to it isn't going to be as high as the amount of people that probably left. They know what they're getting into. So,
if you look at Destiny's history, it's had a weird history where it's had its up and downs between the different DLCs, where you had these ebb and flows where also the user count way above where it was, and then it dropped.
Yeah, the Division too. The Division has the same
Division
thing,
has a history as well, exactly.
But people are really actually getting that Destiny fatigue. When people are playing Sea of Thieves, they're having fun.
Yeah, it isn't about the grind. It's about having fun.
Yeah, the grind. It's according to what you're doing with the grind. Like if it was like a single player game, hell no, I wouldn't like Sea of Thieves if on that aspect. But because you're playing with friends and you're doing goofy stuff together and you keeping it still keeps things fresh, because you still might see a certain thing pop up or a certain situation that comes about that you haven't seen before. With Destiny, it's it's kind of like the same of the same, except so that's why I think that you're right, but I think it's just a little bit different when it comes to Destiny.
Yeah, but I think with Sea of Thieves, some people will come back on Game Pass, whereas it's $10. They pay $10. They pay $10 for the game to get it on Game Pass. They'll pay $10 more to get it on Game Pass again, just to try out. And this is a kicker right here. When you have new content coming in Game Pass, like State of Decay, that's going to drive those numbers of Sea of Thieves up, because they're going to be like, okay, I played State of Decay.
What else?
Let me go back into Sea of Thieves. Let me go back into Sea of Thieves for a little bit. I haven't played this in a while. Or some people have never even tried it because they're waiting on State of Decay. And so they're like, okay, well, Sea of Thieves is here too. Let me check this out.
See, that's why, Pred, with you saying that, that's why I think this is not a big deal. It might be a little bit major in the terms of numbers right now, because this is kind of like a brand new thing. Having these exclusives drop in day and date with that subscription service, throwing those free trials out there to everybody and their brother. I feel like this is going to be kind of like a trend when it comes to these services, just not on such an astronomical number drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think with this, because it's in Game Pass, those numbers will continue to fluctuate up and down over the time. But the thing is, as long as it's in Game Pass and people have Game Pass, people are going to play Sea of Thieves. Whereas like with Destiny or The Division, there has to be content there for people to come back. Whereas Sea of Thieves, people just have to drop that $10 to pay it whenever they want to, and or new content coming to Game Pass, they'll just jump into it whenever. So they're not necessarily waiting on just Sea of Thieves to drop new content. They're just waiting on something to come into Game Pass, and they might jump back into Sea of Thieves. So I don't think it's a big deal, but I do think like this games as a service thing, where you have games like this, it's made based off of the content they have, and if they're only going to support it for a year, at least that's their roadmap right now. I mean, this game could take off in 6 months, and they may come up with a different plan and support it for 2 or 3 years. But if you don't have a significant roadmap laid out in advance for games like this, with the Divisions, the Destinies, those grinding games like this, where it's based off of just grinding to keep people entertained, they're going to just drop out after a certain point. You know, they're going to get tired of, oh, I need a new skin for my gun. Let me keep grinding to find this one piece of equipment, you know. So
I can't wait for skins in PUBG, by the way.
And then people are just gonna drop out. I mean, there's gonna be like, I'm done dealing with this, and I can't find this shit, so I'm out. So it's gonna be interesting dynamic to see how this game progresses, specifically its first year, and what they do with it the second year, if anyone's still actually actively involved in it.
Well, haven't they answered questions about that though? Didn't someone ask in an interview, you know, what are you guys doing with, you know, past 12 months? And I unless I imagine this, I could have sworn they said that they really don't have anything planned for that. And what I'm trying to say is, I think they have something they want you to jump to. I think Rare wants you to go from Sea of Thieves in year 1 to another game. I think they're going to show something else.
They're working on something else. I think they were hiring for another game almost a year ago.
People have been screaming for another Battletoads, by the way, like screaming for
that
another
Battletoads.
That and Perfect Dark too.
And Perfect Dark, yeah. But I mean, they have a lot of franchises over there.
Multiplayer only Conquer game. There you go.
I don't think if that's a Perfect Dark game, I don't think Rare is going to be
doing that.
No.
You don't think so?
No, I think somebody else will be probably making.
The rumor is someone else is doing that.
Yeah, I think somebody in the coalition. I really do think. I know this is way far fetched, but I really do think that the game that Coalition was first working on, Black Tusk, is the code name for for the Joanna Dark game. I really do.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I got you. But you know, it's just really interesting. Whoever thought at the beginning of this generation we'd be talking about gaming subscriptions?
Shanghai Nights. That was the name of it. Sorry, code name. Yeah, Shanghai.
All right.
Shanghai.
Yeah, Shanghai.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
All right, you done, Mega?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are you sure? You sure? Okay. No, I'm just playing, but I just think it's really interesting that we're talking about things now that nobody would ever thought of at the beginning of this generation, and that shows that when you actually look back, like there was an amount of innovation of pushing the industry forward that some people, because we're living in the here and now, are kind of taken for granted. I just think the beginning of this generation, we would have never thought we'd be talking about gaming subscriptions and how this game is doing with, you know, people paying $10 a month to play that plus like 160 other games. I don't think anybody would have called it. If I had called it back in 2013, I think people would have said I was absolutely insane and that the community is not ready for something like that. And look where we are now. But it is Saturday night, guys. We got through all the topics. We had some awesome conversations and opinions. Shout out to Vogel's Creek out in the chat, who said he's basically said about 15 minutes ago. It's like it's 2 hours. Wrap this shit up so we can play games. And guess what, dude? 15 minutes later, that's what we're gonna do. So like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we gotta get those plugs in. We are gonna start with our special guest. Straight from G4G Media, Avers. Let people know. First off, it was a blast having you on the show. I hope this isn't a one-time thing. I hope we can get you to come back on. Your opinions, the conversation that was going on was absolutely incredible, man. I had a blast having you on. Yeah.
No, thank you, man. I would love to be on again for sure. It's great to actually be able to talk positive about games and
doom and gloom here, my brother.
Be excited for everything we have coming rather than constantly focusing on what we think we want instead, which happens pretty much all the time, it seems like these days. So thank you again. Honored to be here tonight. Had a blast with you guys. If you want to catch me, G4G Media is the YouTube, Avers at G4G Media on Twitter as well. And yeah, I'd love to come back again. Thanks.
Nice. And for all people who are wondering about the description, I am restreaming right now. I still haven't figured out King Solomon's key on how to get everything on before time. So after this whole show is like processed through YouTube, I will have in the description, I will have our special guest and where you can find him on Twitter and YouTube, as well as everybody else, the rest of the panel. And with that being said, Predator, why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you? I know you think you're going to hold that golden cup for gameplay, but I think I got you beat this week, man.
I don't know about all that, but I will be at actually be playing some,
which is live. Hold on.
You put the poll up. Yeah, make sure you vote for Pred. I'll be playing some PUBG tonight at the top of the hour if you guys want to join me there. Predator_H2OS on Xbox Live, PlayStation, YouTube, and Twitter as well. So hit me up. I'll see you guys next week.
Nice, man. K Mega.
Yes.
We had some mic issues in the beginning, but you came back like a tsunami and just tried to sweep these topics out. Let people know, man, where can they get a hold of you? I don't know if we're going to pull out the scroll and let people know exactly what you do throughout the week, in between your 14-hour work periods, man.
Yeah, for real. Man, no, just only half scroll. Just come in, come sub to the channel, KMega405 on YouTube. On Twitter, man, go ahead and hit that follow, man. Come hang out and chit chat with me at KMega4. Also, every Friday night, 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. The GRG podcast, man, it is live. And you know what? We need Vogel or Delirium Blades to come on there and do a damn time limit and say, "It's over 2 hours. Get the hell off." Because we need it. God dang, we need it. And you know what? Don was on this last week's episode, was the other day's episode, yesterday's episode, matter of fact. And Don went long. I'm like, we're not going to go long. I got to be at work at 4 o'clock in the morning. And Don went long. Like, Jesus.
That's because you had to go to work. I didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah, and then, of course, BGST. Big shout out to Intro Media Gaming. And big shout out to Lady Infamous. She hit her 1,000 subs. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. So, all right. Thank you guys so much.
Nice. Don, you had a prior engagement, man. We didn't think you were gonna be in, but like a true gaming soldier, you're like, you know what? We're gonna cut that short and get in and talk some games. So, I know me and the rest of the panel, we really do appreciate it, and let people know where they can get a hold of you, dude.
The best way to get a hold of me is the Don _KTR on Twitter. Anything, whatever I'm doing, YouTube, podcast, streaming. That's the way to find out what I'm doing. And I have to admit, my wife let me come home early because a new television showed up on my front door. So after this, I'm going to be playing on my new Samsung. So I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
Oh.
What Samsung is it?
The Q8S 2018 model just came out.
It's the one that has a screen and you can play games on, okay?
No,
Yeah.
it's actually pretty cool. It has, a lot of TVs have frame rate interpolation kind of as a feature. But a lot of times you don't have access to that via game mode because it screws up the latency. The chips that are in these newer TVs are so powerful, they actually have very low latency with frame rate interpolation. So you can actually get a higher refresh rate of what you're watching. It makes everything smoother.
D-Bags,
so you could have
you don't sound so Canadian right now.
So you really just have the best of both worlds, and it's also allowed to go really dark as well, like closer to OLED darks, but also it's brighter because it's not an OLED. So it's really kind of just, you can have everything and not have to sacrifice anything. So I'm I'm super stoked to try it out.
Nice,
So.
nice. You will be able to catch the Don in an Xbox Live party with D-Batch and Zaire tonight, man, because all they're going to do is talk TV.
No, I'm just going to put the HDR demo of the beach and try to get a tan off of things. What I'm going to try to do.
Oh, it seems like Snaps doesn't like my 40-year-old with a comb over statement. We'll leave it out to everybody in the chat. Yo, 1 if it's good, 2 if it's bad. So, but on that note, guys, I just want to say I appreciate all the support from the gaming community. You know, we had Blades in here, Z Black Rider, of course Vogel, John the Gamer, which I know as John Thomas the Gamer. And everybody else in the chat, it would be another like 2.5 hours just to say everybody's name. Thank you guys so much for coming and checking out the show live. For everybody else who can't, but still check it out throughout the week, thank you for all the support. No, not yet, Pred. Not yet. Wait. But thank you for all the support. We truly appreciate it. But it is Saturday. The gamers got a game, got to get the controllers in their hands. So, like I say, every Saturday, we will see you next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Penis demon.
Oh, I knew it was coming.